Hello beautiful people, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Oluchi Imo, and on this channel I talk about cake business. I share tips on entrepreneurship, personal development, story time and vlogs as well. And you are welcome. If you are a new subscriber, you are most welcome to my channel. You are welcome to the YouTube family of Oluchi Imo. And if you're an OG, thank you so much for always being here. Thank you for your support all the way. I am so glad that you're here again to watch my video. Now today we'll be talking about something very interesting, but before that, let me take this time out to just plead with you to please bear with the noise in the background. I'm at work today and you're going to be hearing different sounds like bikes passing, cars horning, pressing their horns, cars hooting, whatever you understand it as, people advertising their goods and all of that. But just try to pay attention and hear me. I'm going to try to speak clearly and be audible as I can. Today, just like the topic implies, buttercream versus whipped cream. Which side are you on? Team buttercream or team whipped cream? Which one exactly are you? Is whipped cream better than buttercream? Is whipped cream better than, look at that tongue twister right there. Is whipped cream better than buttercream, or is buttercream better than whipped cream? Which one do you prefer to work with? Now, if you're a newbie and you're pretty new to this, I'm just going to be sharing some tips and some things that I know, comparing both of them. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm not comparing, so to say. Let me not confuse you. I'm just going to be telling you what whipped cream is and what buttercream is, the characteristics of whipped cream and the characteristics of buttercream, so that you know what these things are actually, especially if you're a newbie. And if you're also not very good with either of this, if you're having a challenge with working with either of this is just going to be a means of educating you so that you know, you have a fair knowledge, you have a good knowledge of what these frosting mediums that you use for decorating your cakes are. So without further ado, I'm sure you must be interested in learning and knowing what I have to say in this video. So do not go anywhere, I'll be right back. You're welcome back. Like I said, we're going to be talking about whipped cream and buttercream. So I'm starting with the first thing, which is the ingredients. Now, what are the ingredients? The basic ingredients, or the ingredients you use for basic buttercream recipe, like recipe that is just buttercream. It doesn't have anything attached to it. It's not a Swiss meringue buttercream. It's not Italian meringue buttercream. It's not the special kind of buttercreams we have these days. Not if you're in Nigeria, you know that we have modified, what they call modified buttercream. No, it's none of that. It's just simple, old, plain buttercream, American buttercream. So the ingredients you use for that are just your margarine or your butter, depending on what you use or where you're from, and your confectioner's sugar on your icing sugar, your confectioner's or icing sugar, and you have your flavor as well. You have water. Some people use water or milk. So these are the 4 ingredients that you use. So these are the 4 ingredients that you use for your buttercream. You have your margarine or butter, you have confectioner's or icing sugar, and then you have water and milk, and then you have your flavor. So these are the 4 things that you need for simple buttercream. Now, I know that as recipes differ, or the more advanced the buttercream is, the more things you have to use, or the more modifications you have to make. But this is just it for basic buttercream recipe. Now for whipped cream, what do you have? You have your whipped cream, either in liquid or powder form, and you also have milk or water, and you have your flavor. So these are the things that I know that you need. These are the basic ingredients that I know that you need. Now for whipped cream, some people have an extra thing that they add to help them with the stability of the buttercream, but we'll come to that shortly. So these are the things that I'll be telling you, or these are the things that comprises of your buttercream and your whipped cream. The second thing I'll be talking about is the preparation method. Now when it comes to buttercream, the preparation is pretty straightforward. Like no drama, no fussing, no here and there, no back and forth. All you need to do is just put your buttercream, all you need to do is just to put your butter or your margarine in your mixing bowl. Go ahead to mix mix it until it's very light and loose before they begin to add their confectioner's sugar and add other ingredients. And so people just have different ways of preparing their buttercream. But for whipped cream, it's not that straightforward, right? If you know whipped cream very well, you know that it's not straightforward. Now what you have to do, you have to chill your bowl. After chilling your bowl, you need to use cold water, like ice cold water, very chilled cold water for it. and then when you are done beating it, you beat on high speed. Now, I don't know of any basic buttercream recipe that you beat on high speed. If you do that, beat on high speed and beat for so long like that, you're going to have air bubbles. You most likely will end up with air bubbles. So whipped cream, you start with slow or low speed. Like you can see, I believe you must have watched my whipped cream video, my best recipe video for whipped cream. I beg your pardon, I just need help with trying to not we're trying to keep the two separate and not mixing them up. So if you watch that video, you will know that it's not a straightforward process. Like, you have to chill the bowl, and then you start with slow speed and then increase it to the highest speed. You beat on high speed until it doubles in size, and then you can cover your cake with it. And when you're done, you still send it back to the fridge or your freezer to chill it for some minutes before using it. So these are the two ways you prepare these two frosting mediums, or these two types of frostings that you use for your cakes. For buttercream, pretty easy, straightforward, no drama. But for whipped cream, not that straightforward. It has a little bit of drama, but I believe with good knowledge you should be able to handle both of them. The third thing I'll be talking about when it comes to buttercream and whipped cream is the color. Now for buttercream, you have a very yellowish, yellow pale cream kind of color when you prepare your buttercream, depending on the margarine or the butter, depending on the color of the margarine or the butter you're going to use. So there are some brands that you use and you will end up with a yellow buttercream, a pale yellow buttercream. There are some you would use, you will end up with a deep, like really yellow buttercream. And there are some that you would make and you will end up with a pale kind of cream color, almost off-white. It depends on your base, the buttercream or the margarine, the butter or the margarine that you are using. So this is it when it comes to color. Now for whipped cream, it is white in color. I've never seen any whipped cream that you prepare and it's anything like cream or anything like maybe off-white. It is totally white in color. Now the thing with these two colors is that I've observed, and I think it depends on the quality of the, what's that now? It depends on the quality of the color, food color that you're using. So for the whipped cream, it doesn't pick up color, let me just put it that way. It doesn't catch, like we say in Nigeria, it doesn't catch color as fast as the buttercream would do. Yeah, so when you add color to the buttercream, it picks up really fast, and it doesn't pick up color. The whipped cream doesn't pick up color as fast as the buttercream would. If you add color to the buttercream, you tint it with time, it would even get deeper. But I don't know about that for the whipped cream. I don't know if it gets deeper, if it stays for longer, or if it stays for long. But I know that it doesn't pick up color as easily as the buttercream would. So if I use a particular brand of glue, I would most definitely get a deeper shade with the buttercream than the whipped cream when I use the same quantity. So if you use the same quantity of food color for your buttercream and your whipped cream, leaving all things equal, say like a cup of buttercream and a cup of whipped cream, and you just put a toothpick inside the buttercream and inside the whipped cream, you will see the difference in the colors and the color shade. The fourth thing I'll be talking about is the consistency. Now the consistency of these two are different. I find that buttercream is stiffer, or it's of a more stable consistency than your whipped cream. All well and good, it's true that there are things you can do to stabilize your whipped cream, but from the get-go, from the onset, once you prepare your buttercream, it is stiff and it is ready for you to use. Sometimes you might even need to thin down before using it. But for your whipped cream, it is not so. It's not as stiff as, it's not even stiff. It's not stiff when it comes to the word stiff. But compared to a newbie or someone who is not very skilled at using whipped cream and someone who is skilled, it is not as stiff as the buttercream. Now, if you want to stabilize or stiffen your whipped cream, there is something I know that people do. Two things basically, and one is just natural, something that I know that I do, which is to put it in the freezer or the fridge to chill it and keep it for some time before you bring it out and before you use it. And then some other people, when they are preparing, they have their gelatin in the mix. So they have gelatin as part of the ingredients that they add to make their whipped cream stiff, to stabilize their whipped cream. So you want to consider these two things and put this in mind. Know this, that one, is friendly, has a friendly consistency right from the word go, right from the get-go, but the other one doesn't have a really friendly consistency per se, except you really know how to use it and except you learn. And my video is going to help you learn. And the video is not just a magical thing that you watch and you just get to know it and all of that. You need to practice. They say makes perfect. So you need to practice over and over again until you become skilled at it, you understand it. And the brand you use also matters. The brand of whipped cream or whipped cream powder you're using or you're going to use matters a whole lot. So be sure to get a good brand in the market, a trusted brand, and a brand that wouldn't even give you issues from the beginning, and then get the right recipe and also prepare it the right way so that you avoid issues and stories that touch. Now the fifth thing I'm going to be talking about, is the storage. For your buttercream, you can just prepare and keep it on your tabletop and you have no worries. You have zero worries, especially if you've adhered to the things that you need to do when it comes to preparing and using buttercream. Yes, I know that buttercream is pretty easy to use, make, and all of that, but there are some things that you would do that will make you run into issues with using buttercream. So please avoid these things. I've talked about them in my video as well about buttercream mistakes you should avoid. If you've not checked out that video, you definitely need to check out that video. So if you do things right with your buttercream, you do not have, when I mean you have zero worries, you have zero worries. You can keep it at room temperature for hours and nothing, absolutely nothing would happen to it. But if you don't do it right, let me just share one or two things that can happen. Your buttercream can fall off your cake, it can fall off the body of your cake. Another thing that would happen is that your buttercream would begin to sweat. So if you do something like putting your buttercream in the fridge, depending on the recipe you work with, but I doubt, like for the regular buttercream, if you put it in the fridge, there is a tendency that, especially for a very long time, there's a tendency that it will begin to sweat. So please do not do that. Prepare it right. Leave it at room temperature. If you are picking up the following morning or picking up hours later, you have no worries about. But when we come to this whipped cream, you know that you cannot just keep it out like that for so long. Now I know that there are pros that have been able to hack this thing and they know how to make it work, and they can keep their whipped cream at room temperature and it will not melt. Like it will not melt. I don't know how best to describe this anymore, but it will not melt. It will still be firm and it will still be okay. All well and good. If you are such a pro person, we would not mind you sharing your tip with us. We would not mind you learning and teaching us as well. But I've heard people say that they can keep their whipped cream at room temperature and nothing, absolutely nothing would happen to it. On the other hand, if you know that you're not very good with this, don't just do that. Don't just prepare it and keep it at room temperature. I have a whipped cream cake that I prepared that is chilling in the freezer right now. Client has come in, seen the cake, she likes it, and then she'll be picking up a little later. So I'm just going to leave it there. I wanted to try leaving it out and then seeing what the reaction is, so that I can, and seeing what will follow, so that I can tell you, okay, this is what it is with this brand and all of that. But I just prefer keeping it there so that it remains cold, remains chilled. It's cold, and then because the weather is pretty hot today, so that we'll not just run into any kind of issues or any kind of troubles, maybe falling buttercream, falling whipped cream or anything, or sliding and all of that. So please try to do your best to learn these things, learn them well, practice the skills, master them, and you will be such a pro at them. Okay, so buttercream, whipped cream, there is no basis for putting this side by side and say, hey, so buttercream is better than whipped cream, or whipped cream is better than buttercream. I don't know if I'll be able to clear that at the end of the day. So these are two different things. It's like saying white and black. White is better than black, or black is better than white. White color is better than white, and white color is better than black, or black color is better than white. These are two different colors. These are two different things, unique in their own ways. They have their own strengths. They have their own weaknesses. They have the things that they can shine at, that they do well, that they're very good at. So that is it when it comes to buttercream and whipped cream. But I would still like to know in the comments, team, what are you on? What do you prefer working with? Do you prefer working with buttercream, or do you prefer working with whipped cream anytime, any day? What is that thing that you can do out of these two out of buttercream and whipped cream, which one is the one that you can use without having any palpitations, without being afraid, without having any cause for worry or any cause for concern? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, let me know in the comments below as well. Until I see you in the next video, before that, if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And if you're yet to like this video, hit the like button so that this video can get to as many people that need to see it. There are so many people that are new in this industry. There are many people that have even been in this industry but find these things challenging. Please, 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 and please help me get this video out by first of all liking, to help the visibility of this video and to help YouTube show it to other people, and also share with those in your baking communities and those that are into the baking industry, that are your friends as well. All right, until I see you in the next video, stay happy, stay safe, and stay blessed. Thank you for watching.